In this section of the course, we're going to talk about deploying your application to the web. Now, there are a ton of different options, so many so that there's no way that they could all be covered in even a single course, just because every different service has its own strengths and weaknesses. We're going to use Heroku for our deployment, but before we go into that, I want to show you what some of the options out there are and talk very briefly about what the positive and negatives are. Heroku is one of the most popular deployment engines for Rails, PHP, Go, a bunch of different applications and frameworks, mainly because it's very easy to use. It's great for rapid prototyping. As you'll see, we can deploy to the web in literally a matter of minutes, and it handles a lot of things such as instantly creating your database and being able to log in remotely, and it's a great tool to use. So that's what we're going to be using for this course. Some of the other options that are out there, Engine Yard. I have a few different apps with Engine Yard. It's a great way to go. Pricing's pretty fair and it's pretty scalable. They also have some good command line tools. Another one is Rails Machine. I don't have personally any apps with them, but I have heard really good things about them, and I'm sure at some point I will deploy something with them. Digitalocean and Linode, I'll bring both of these together, are pretty similar in the fact that it's kind of a do-it-yourself kind of architecture. I would not recommend going with them if you are new to deploying Rails applications, just because there's a lot more work that has to be done. But if you are looking to build a true production application, deploy it to the web, and scale it up, Digitalocean and Linode are both fantastic options, but they definitely are for a little bit more advanced developers. Then AWS actually has two great options for Rails applications, one of which is the AWS Elastic Beanstalk. This would be their most comparable offering to Heroku. They have command line tools, they have a bunch of different ways you can get your application on the web, and if you like using AWS, this might be a good option for you. EC2, this is more of a competitor to Linode or DigitalOcean. You have the ability to put any type of application on there. You still have all your good command line tools, and it's more of having closer to a dedicated server compared to a Beanstalk, which is 100% of a cloud-based environment. So these are some great options, and there are even more. We don't have time to go over all of them, but these are some of the top ones that I've worked with and that developers that I've been friends with have said great things about, so I would definitely recommend trying all of them out. But for this course, we're going to go with Heroku, and now we're going to see what some of the prerequisites are and what we have to do to our application in order to get this live on the web.